Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, Bitcoin will descend to around $10,000. I've been saying this, ladies and gentlemen, since you can look at the playlist, and I urge you to look at the playlist on this channel. I've been predicting the stock market crash since October of last year. I wrote in the Federalist, please read my article in the pinned comment. I know it's annoying for my longtime viewers. They keep telling me, you always repeat yourself. But I'm one of the few people, ladies and gentlemen, who has been talking about this since October and September of last year. I was talking about, if you look, ladies and gentlemen, I was talking about a Bitcoin and cryptocurrency crash as early as September of last year. So I have a September 12th, 2021 YouTube segment that'll be below. Biden's cryptocurrency crash begins as he teams with Facebook to regulate Bitcoin. But I talk about a lot of other issues, not just regulation. I talk about why cryptocurrencies will descend. There's another segment I did on September 12th. Biden's tanking Bitcoin by focusing on regulating cryptocurrency instead of stock market crash. So I also talked about, I did a segment, Trump saved Bitcoin while Biden's ignoring a stock market crash that will tank cryptocurrencies. You might disagree that Trump saved Bitcoin, but okay. I talked about Bitcoin at $10,000 a number of times. Bitcoin falling to $10,000. January 21st, 2022. I'll put the stock market crash playlist below. That's the first thing you'll see in the description section. You might say, well, why are you wasting my time with this? Why are you wasting my time repeating yourself and being so long-winded as always? Because, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching this channel for a reason. I told everyone that Clinton would lose to Trump in 2016. I accurately predicted long before the crash, well, I should say months before the crash, that stocks, the NASDAQ, the Dow, S&P, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies would take a tremendous, would fall and crash and tumble and descend into oblivion. And that's what's happening slowly but surely. Unfortunately, we're going to get to the 2 to 3 to 4,000 point and more drops in a day in the Dow. So we'll have that one-day crash that people can look at and say, okay, that's the crash of 2022. Hit subscribe to this channel. Hit subscribe also to the stock market crash channel below. It's in the pinned comment. I have a stock market crash segment. It's below, a new one. Please go ahead and hit subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason is very simple. You watching right now could very well know a lot more about cryptocurrencies, digital currencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, other digital and cryptocurrencies than I do. The difference, though, however, what I bring to the table is the following. I'm looking at things from a political and also economic vantage point, from a bird's eye, a macro perspective. Bitcoin has always been tied to the willingness for people to speculate within the stock market. By the way, really quickly, we're almost at 200,000 subs, and people say, well, why are you always... We're almost at 200,000 subs. Tell your friends, tell your family. I mean, if you're talking about the market crashing or the financial catastrophe we're facing with inflation, recession, shortages, supply chain breakdowns, I talked about this for the past 6-7 months. Tell your friends, word of mouth. Hey, there's a person, H.A. Goodman on YouTube, who's been talking about this long before the quote-unquote experts. So, I mean, that's why you watch this channel. Generally, these segments on the stock market, on Bitcoin, they don't do very well on my channel, on my main channel, H.A. Goodman. I have a stock market crash channel that's almost at 20,000 subs below. Subscribe there. They don't do very well just because people are on my channel are into politics. But this is a political issue. Trump's last year in office, media, Democrats, unelected officials, bureaucrats, the morally superior and wonderful, highly educated liberal Democrats, experts, people who care about your well-being, said we have to end economic activity, shut down the entire economy, and basically lock, everything down. And so they did that for your benefit. Then they said, well, we've prevented you from working and making a living, so we're going to give you the stimulus checks, and we're going to actually push for an eviction moratorium because the working class and people struggling with poverty and systemic issues and all. Well, who caused all of this? It was Democratic governors, the wonderful, highly educated authorities. They're the ones who tanked society, said, no, society must completely, and economic activity must completely end. Okay, $10 trillion later to duplicate an actual functioning economy. So in 2 years ago, we went from January, great, record lows in unemployment. We had GDP growth. Everything was fine, to 22 million people unemployed that March. Then they pumped $10 trillion into the economy. Then corporate profits skyrocketed because of the $10 trillion, not because the economy was in the tank, because of the $10 trillion in fiscal and monetary stimulus. I wrote about this in my Federalist article in October. I said, Democrats are hurtling us into a stock market crash. I have been telling people Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies are tied to the market. If the market is overvalued because the moral hazard that was created from the political side, from Democrats primarily, not Trump. Trump wanted to reopen the economy immediately. He should never have acquiesced. But you had the Washington Post and others saying, it's too soon, it's too soon. They opened up the economy back like a light switch, turning on a light switch. Supply chains were obliterated. We had supply and demand projections for oil and gas companies completely, everything was just completely obliterated. And they said, let's focus on Build Back Better or infrastructure or saving the planet to decarbonize the economy. Then they realized Democrats' fossil fuels were actually a geopolitical issue. Oh my goodness. And they have a geopolitical crisis now, a nightmare under the watch of mashed potato brains. Then they're flooding the strategic oil reserves into the economy and all of that, but it's too late. You have 14 states, including oil and gas associations, suing the administration of mashed potato brains. You have fossil fuels at record highs, commodities at record highs, because the demand skyrocketed and now supply is dwindling because you ended economic activity. Corporate profits will eventually descend to 2019 or 2020 or early 2021 levels. And when that happens, we're still overvalued in the market. I wouldn't buy the dip. I think anyone who buys the dip is going to lose money. I think Bitcoin will get to 10,000. All those cryptocurrencies will get decimated even more. The Dow is going to get to closer to 20,000. It'll be below 25,000 eventually. The NASDAQ, who knows where it's going to descend to. Thousands of points lower than where it is now. S&P well over 1,000 points from where it is now. And we're still overvalued. And the economy we haven't even officially been in a recession, but we will. And I keep telling everybody, look, on this channel, I told everybody, and that's the reason you watch YouTube channels, because they're interesting or fun or amusing, or because the analysis is spot on. The analysis has been spot on pertaining to this. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but the analysis has been spot on. So, definitely subscribe to this channel. We're almost at 200,000 subs. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin has a lot more to go down. It could very well go below 10,000. Look, Tesla will go way below 700, probably $300. There's no reason for these. Look, I'm not Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger. I think there's a philosophical component to Bitcoin that makes a lot of sense. I respect people who believe in the philosophical side of Bitcoin, but they have a point, Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett and all of these people. They're very infinitely more intelligent than I am, but also they might possess a lot more wisdom than I do in terms of stocks and investments. The wisdom is, well, at this point right now, are people going to invest in something that they don't see has any value or any true value? You could say, oh, there's a debate on inherent value. Okay, fine. But when the economy tanks, people do not want to speculate. Bitcoin is viewed, cryptocurrencies are viewed as a speculative investment. The NASDAQ, tech heavy, speculation. Tesla, speculation. Okay. Like Tesla, for example, there will be other car companies that encroach upon its market share. This isn't rocket science. The reason for the optimism in the market was because of the $10 trillion pumped into the economy. Once all of that dissipates, and inflation and recession and layoffs and potential, like we have a stock market crash 1 day, 2 days, which is going to happen because the market's crashing, and I told everybody it would. But the 1 day or 2 day crash, that's going to tank hedge funds. That $20 billion margin calls like Archegos. You're going to see layoffs. We're going to go through an economic environment similar to 2 years ago, and that was self-induced also. Now we're going to experience yet even more repercussions. Hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. Tell your friends that I am telling the world Bitcoin will get to $10,000 or lower. Unfortunately, I don't want people to lose money. The people who invest in Bitcoin generally have the political views or the views on society and life generally that I have. Generally. And so I don't want anyone to lose money. I don't want you to lose money if you're watching this, but I'm telling you, especially if you're young and, full of life and, I saw the dot-com bubble. I saw everything with my own eyes. And I'm telling you, this is way worse. A lot worse. And it'll descend to 10,000 or below Bitcoin. Give me your thoughts below, unfortunately. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now to this channel. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel below in the pinned comment. Please read my Federalist article below in the pinned comment. If you're still on social media, I don't have Twitter, I don't have Facebook, but if you're still on social media, please share that article below in the pinned comment on me predicting the stock market crash in October of last year. And tell everybody that you know that H.A. Goodman is saying Bitcoin's going to get to around $10,000 per coin. Thank you.